Right, so this lesson I just want to add the delete button as an output so that we kind of complete the component for now and we can get back to it later. Now, first of all, we have the button down here, and right now it's not doing anything at all. So let's start out by actually adding a small click event down here. Very simple stuff. You just do the click, and then we need to explain what to do when we actually click this. And we just want to say delete image. Let's just say delete. That's all we need to call it because I'm inside the details, so I know it's the image I want to delete, right? Jumping down here, I'm going to add the delete function in the TypeScript file. There we go. Now what should the delete function do? Well, of course it needs to kind of get an output right here and an event emitter. Now again, as you keep doing this enough times, it just starts making sense. It's just, oh yeah, I need an output. Of course I do. And yes, of course it needs to have parentheses right here. Yes, I need to give it a name. Let's just call it, there we go. Let's call it image deleted, something like that. And that's going to be equal to a new event emitter. I like it a lot. There we go. Now we can of course also explain to the event emitter what type we want to emit, and we just want to emit a string in this case. There we go, because that's actually going to be the image that we want to delete, right? So we can just emit the URL right here of the image we want to delete, and that would probably make sense. So what we'll do down here is we'll use this event emitter. So we'll say this image delete dot emit, right? And then what do we want to emit? Well, for now we'll just send out the URL that's here as input, right? Now that's already available in this setup, so it's not even needed to send the URL. We could just send a Boolean value or just an event, but now it's in there if people want to use the actual URL they want to delete. That's all we have to do. Now we have the delete function available, and if you jump into the HTML, you can now actually go in again inside the file system container. You can now actually add one more thing here called image deleted. Now notice the parentheses again compared to the squares. Again, get used to that, get used to the syntax. And then just say delete image. That's going to be the function that we're going to make later on. And that's going to be a function inside the container for now. We'll move it all later, but I just want to again get you guys going with these components. Now let's just, for now, don't send in the source just to show you guys that it'll still work. So I'll say console.log, and I'll just put in a text here, delete the image, something like that. Now that image function will actually be called now, hopefully, when the code is actually run, and I'm clicking the delete function. Let's try, delete. Whee, delete the image, delete it again. Sweet. So that's kind of how easy it was to make an output right here. Now, of course, there's a lot more we can do when we get to it. We can actually figure out how we should delete the image, right? That would make sense. But let's just continue for now, and we'll get back to this button later on and kind of have an overview about how we can start using it for real, because we also want some validation, some snacks, some stuff like that. You know, all those things that we've done so far in the profile, we want to reuse a lot of that inside this code. But I am going to skip a lot of it because we don't have the time if I have to do videos for everything. So there are a few steps I'm going to jump and explain the code instead just very briefly, because that'll just make us progress a lot faster, because I want to get into the good stuff like how to delete files in Firebase, how do we work with functions on Firebase. I want to get to that soon. So we'll get into that very soon. See you next time. Have fun.